think abuse is just like, physical abuse. But there are a lot of ways you notice, like when a young child is being abusive, it may not just be like physical. Sometimes you notice that there isn't a relationship with this child. The child is just being nice when they want something. And when they don't want, that's already a form of abuse. They just communicate or are nice when they want something. Or when you don't give them what they want, they just get impossible. When you notice, it's not just physical. When you notice that there is no proper communication with a child, you can't, get the child to do things, the child is acting up or so. When it's very frequent, it becomes an abuse. Then, of course, as they get older, you may see things like, rare cases a child will actually hit, but the child will not talk to you decently unless they want money or they want to go out. Any other thing, contributing to the house, helping in the tidying up or so, they are not interested. Then they still get older, become young adults. If you don't contribute finances to them, they start blackmailing you, keeping away from you, maybe shutting you out of the life, not letting you see the grandchildren. With older kids, what a lot of parents actually suffer from is this, being isolated and excluded, being blackmailed. Not sometimes the children even cut off totally from their parents. The parents don't get to see the children. So there are really so many various forms of abuse that it takes a lot of time to actually understand and know, okay, I've gotten to this point. But I think when a mother starts feeling the hurt and pain, because that's actually abuse, something that is unpleasant or hurtful. And when you are constantly under pain and hurt, then you should, understand that you are in an abusive relationship with your child.
Yeah, in that case, for a woman undergoing or for parents undergoing this situation, what do you think is the first step to take in order to prevent it? Since, yeah, let's just be free, assuming it happens in a normal home. What do you advise, or from your own point of view, what do you think should be done?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. If it was that easy, we wouldn't have that problem. Um, what I do know, I'll give you an instance. I have a friend, she lives close to me. Now, she raised these children. She's also Black, not Pan African. Exemplary. One of them is a doctor. The other one is also a psychologist or whatever. Very well brought up. But, somewhere along the stage, the lady said, don't tell people I'm your mother. I don't want people to know you're my mother. Kind of like ashamed of, and she came to me and she was really crying, say, I did so much, I suffered so much, I did cleaning jobs, all I wanted was to raise my children to be the best. Now look, and I was telling her, there's something, you can't beg for love. Somehow we have to set boundaries. And when you don't set the boundaries to let the child know, even when they're small, here you can't cross. If you keep running after that child, like, you give the child, say, go to your room now, then you run back, okay, come out or so. When the child does not understand, you can't set boundaries, then it starts becoming a problem. And I think that is basically in every relationship, not just parent and child. But I see someone is raising their hand, so.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's me.
Yeah.
Be honest, Alice.
Yeah, if I should really chip in a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When we look at abuse, every human being is a potential abuser. Being an abuser is taking advantage of things that are being given to us because we are looking at signs. As we said previously, when we were discussing about children, there is no laid down regulations or rules of how to raise children. It still boils down on the way we understand, and from the grassroots, which we are, the parents, the role model that these children are being looked at before they go out to the society. Now, seeing the sign, I think a child or children from childhood, you will see that sign from being a child. You know, as a child cries when he wants something, and the moment he gets it, he keeps quiet. So that child now have realized that each time that he cries or she cries, that she's getting something. Now, it is for you as a parent to set the rules, to say, okay, you are meant to have this at this particular time. You know, I thank God, like, you know, somebody saying, nobody can come and boast, my children are very best, I'm the best parents. Nobody is ever the best parent, because if God is not by your side, there is nothing you can do. You know, even when you are raising twins from the same womb, you find out that God wired us in different ways. No matter how you tried, this child might grow up to decide to follow the way that he wants to follow. It's only if God is by your side to help you raise them the way that they will be useful to you. So I would say that parents, from the beginning that you have children, you set boundaries, as Barrister Kindness said, you set boundaries. You know, and your boundaries is, they will try you. If cannot say yes now or say no now, the next minute you are saying yes. Or you say yes today, tomorrow you say no. So when they know that you are the type of parents who are not consistent in what you say, they can play around you. When they play around you, there are different abuses that children use. They use emotional. Emotional blackmail is by, they can cry to get something, you know, and it's you, the parents, that will know, do you actually need this? There are difference between need and want. It is us to set this boundary as parents. Some of us, you know, we pamper our children that, oh, you don't want them to cry. Cry never kills any child. So by so doing, you give them things. Let's assume that you buy treats and you want them to have these treats 3 times a week. You yourself, you have made your budget, how much you are going to spend on treats for the week. And you said they're going to have it 3 times within the week. You have to stick by that 3 times, no matter what. And you have to make that child understand that this is my budget for the week for your treats. And that budget is for you to have it only 3 times, no matter the cry. Emotional blackmail, they will do that. You know, emotional blackmail, some of them might come back and tell you, oh, my friends, their parents give them every day, their parents allow them to have this. Why is it that we cannot do it? Your friends are different. They are from different home. This is my home. This is the way I said. This is how much we are getting in. And at times, we deceive ourselves also, deceive our children. We don't actually make them understand the situation of things at home. Some of them don't know the budget that the parents have got. Some of them think so, they keep comparing you with other families. The moment you buy that comparison, they've won you over emotionally. So that puts some parents, some of them are financially abused. You go and borrow money to meet the need of a child when you know that you cannot afford it. Some are physically abused, their children slap, even few months old child slaps mothers. And you take it as if it's a joke. No, you don't do that. Yeah, I have got grandchildren. They don't, you would think, oh, they don't know what they are doing. Oh, they're still a child, they don't know what they are doing. No, you stop it from there. You do not slap grandma. You don't do it. They will look at you. They will try it again. And you stop them. They will keep trying until they have maintained that, yes, you are serious that this should not happen. I have tried, in fact, it's the experiment I am making now in my home. 9 months. They will know when you ask them to stop. They will try you, they will pick it up, and they will look at you and see. Even when you are breastfeeding, they will bite your nipple and they will look at your face and see whether you will feel the pain. You tell them not to stop biting. They keep doing it until they establish that you said, do not do it. You know, so some of us buy into emotional, financial, even the grown-up ones. Now there are weddings coming up, there are things coming up. Oh, my friend's wedding is like this. You go and borrow so amount of money in order to please a child. You know, so we still come back to the grassroots, which is we parents from home, from childhood, setting boundaries, not allowing your child to compare you with other families. That's moral. Letting them know the moral, letting them know what you have, being truthful, not deceiving yourself, deceiving them, deceiving the public, and deceiving God. Setting that boundaries, telling them exactly who you are, not to make them understand that, oh, during your own time, your parents did this, you did that, you did. No, tell them the truth. Let them know the truth about you. Let them know the truth about situation in the home. Let them know the value. Then you compare it with religion, what God says. He says, respect your mother and your father so that your ways will be prolonged. And, also telling them the consequence by law. If I go and borrow money, I'm not afford to pay it, the bailiff will come. They will carry the things we have at home. By law, are violated. I don't want to be in that situation. So I would say that we still bring it down to us. The way we raise these children, they will try, but if they try and they are not giving up, they will know. And also as a parent, if you try all what you know what to do and you are not succeeding, you hand it over to God and allow that child, tell the child the consequence. You are going to be a mother, you are going to be a father of your own. If you grow up, this is what you are going to experience, and you let go. So my own output is we parents have to say it's from the grassroots. So we have different emotional, physical, financial, that a child they can really play you up if you let them, do that. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Deaconess Alice. You have been able to narrate to us some of the measures we can take in order to prevent parental abuse. I also want to add that what you are saying can only be implemented for the ages that are under us. In some cases, there are ages that the children will reach, you're not supposed, and they don't take your advice. And I want us to look beyond that, beyond what you have said for the level that are under us, because there are people already in the other stage, and they might be thinking there's no hope again. And I want to say for sure, from experience, I know that it's not easy to handle children that are out of that are beyond that 18 years. So, like in Europe, the children that are on or above 18 years are just they are called adults, yeah, and you're not. They are like on their own, but they are living with you because most of them are still doing their education. And in this case, when you begin to, you cannot say you're setting boundary, and out of some experiences of some of them, they miss this area because not all children have the same pattern that the training you give to them because of circumstances surrounding the home. We might not name everything here, but I have two sons that I know that have different, surroundings, situations, and I know how they act in one way or the other, different from another. So I also want to tell parents that are out there, they don't feel that if they fail for the children that are under them at the early stage, then it means that it's the end of the world. What we are talking about embraces all the stages, and we are looking into it to see how we can help each other from your own experiences and your view. How do we help each other? If you notice that this is going on in your own setup, what do you do? Where do you go? According to Deaconess Alice, one thing is for you to pray. And this can also be applied for both the people that have the children that are underage and those that have the children that are above the age of being led. So let's go back to our next step, what we will do for the healing. You have talked about praying. I want to also ask, is there any other thing we can do for the healing part? such situation? Can
If I should,
somebody?
if I should say something, please.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
that case, if they are adult children, I mean, we
Yeah.
still set boundaries for adult children who are still living under our roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, for adult children, when they start playing up, there are two things that you have to look at. At times, we don't talk about mental health. Some of our children are might be going through things that we don't know. That is communication. There must be an open communication between you and these adult children. Some of them might be going through stress at school, stress with their peer groups, stress with their schoolwork, stress with their body, stress with everything around them. So if you communicate, you will be able to put your eyes to enable them, communicate with them, find out. Now, if it's something that deals with stress, it's mental health, we don't want to talk about it, you seek help. We have therapists, we have our GPs that we can talk, after discussing with the child, can you discuss that with your GP? Or, is there anybody that's, a mentor that that you can speak to? First of all, is identify the sign, because your child might be going through something that you don't know. He must have, been bullied at school. He must have been, not going through the school work very well. So you have to identify which of these emotional blackmail that comes in that will make them be throwing tantrum. There must be something. There must be an underlying factors that makes this child to abuse you, either verbally, physically, or emotionally, or financially. So it's for you to identify as a parent. If you're not able to discuss with that child, find out who are the best friend, or who are the teacher, the mentor, any of your family members they are able to listen to. Try to find out the facts, underlying factors. That's my own contribution in there. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't know if you're joining us newly. We are on our Endless Possibilities talk show, and it's being brought to you by the Women at the Well of Living Waters, with the headquarters in UK. And today we are discussing this topic that we started 3 weeks now, and it's called parental abuse, signs, healing, and prevention, clashes between morals and religion. So if you're joining us newly, this is what we are talking about today. So we've been able to identify when it is the time that the parents are undergoing this abuse, and why do we have statistically a low average of victims, because we have also talked about the remedies and for the ages, and we are dealing with it now. So let's talk about the clashes. Do we really have any the clashes between morals and religion? Barrister Kaine, can you come in?
Yes, of course. I mean, as the deaconess said, let me pull out a bit, go back a bit. Those boundaries you set at the early stage become very, very important later. Because a child, there are some mothers just merely looking at the child knows what the mother is thinking in public. And I always say, if you have gotten to that stage with your child, that you go somewhere in the public and, maybe somebody's offering the child something and you look at the child immediately knows what the mother is thinking and reacts, then you are really doing super well with that child. So the way you relate with a child when the child is young, it determines a lot the relationship you have later. Now, this clashes, we grew up in our own time. We were raised by our parents in a certain way. It was a very easy way for our parents too, because there was no hesitation about it. Even teachers then, if you don't do it, you get flogged or you get a punishment. So there was nothing like being hyperactive or anything. You complied. It was easy for the parents. And it was also easy for us because we didn't have to think. We just knew, do what your mother says or your father says, then you don't have any responsibility again. It's going to be okay. If you do what the parents say, it will be okay. But now these children are being raised, things have changed a bit. There's not too much this authoritarian flair, neither in the families nor in schools, depending, of course, where you live. And sometimes there's a lot of control. So now you have these children, you can't control them just that way, the easy way our parents could control us. So you have to learn methods. How can I relate with this child in a way that it has to be a way that when the child is going to school in the morning, you are not scared and said, oh my God, I hope she's not going to tell the teacher that I smacked her or this. I believe you have to find a method of dealing with your child, because I can't just suddenly say, okay, now at age 7, I use another method of raising the child. That's why communication is very, very important. Now, it's very difficult because going that way of, like telling the child, go to your room. If you don't go to your room now, you get a smack, you go to the room. Yes. But when you have to sit down and be explaining to the child, now it's now your bedtime, now you have to go to bed, or that's in bed, it takes a lot of energy and time to get there. It takes much longer. But at the end, I think it's a very important thing to talk to your children, to explain to them the reason why, because an age will get, you can't use the other method. So you can't just flip the coin and say, now I'm using this method of talking. So it's important to master from childhood this, talk to your child, explain to your child from the religious aspect, the moral aspect, really get the child to understand why this is wrong or why this is right. And if you can communicate that way with your child, it can carry on into teenage. It doesn't mean you won't have arguments or quarrels or disagreements, but the road will always be open to communicate. Because sometimes when you are very strict with a child, you wouldn't even know what is going on with that child. So there are children that are acutely depressed. I've even watched a woman who, her son committed suicide. Yes, she saw some signs like reluctance to go to school, all those, but she never knew the boy had gotten to that stage. So this is the conflict, we have with our religion. Of course, when a child comes and tells you, if a teenage boy comes and tells you, I smoked with my friends, oh my God, how do you react to that? And if you if you say now, you see, this is where all the conflict comes. If you say now, no, my religion, God forbid, you can't do that, then of course the child is not going to tell you the truth. How far do you get with your children to really get them to confide in you? Like, my first son, when he's now going to be 39. So when he was like 14, he came home from school and he said, Mama, all my friends are drinking. I said, is that so? Yes. And how do you find it? He said, yeah, it's cool. I said, I know. So that afternoon, I told him, okay, let's go for lunch. So we got to this Chinese restaurant. And, after lunch, they'll serve you with this small sect. So I said, drink. Have mine. Have another one. And he drank, they are very sweet, so he drank about 4 or 5. By the time I was driving home, he said, he saw a man, he thought he saw Jesus Christ. When we got home, I had to put him, he said, Mama, is that Jesus? I said, no. I had to put him with his clothes under the shower. Then I put him in bed. He woke up, he was throwing up. He said, Mama, I will never in my life drink alcohol. I said, okay. So you've seen what it's like, not good, yeah. And he doesn't drink until today. And I told him, I said, now, any day your friends are smoking marijuana or so, don't try it outside. Come to me, let's try it privately to see how it goes with you. And he never drank, he never smoked, nothing. So it's always difficult, this clash with, if I'm too religious, I have very high moral standards, how can I penetrate into the world of that child? I think maybe I should stop here and also give other people
Thank you
opportunity
very
to
much. Thank
say
you. That was a
something.
very nice illustration.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
somebody that raised her hand. It was the Esther Ndu. Do you still want to say something? You can unmute yourself, please. Ngozi Esther. Okay. As she's getting ready, Dr. Eno, please, Dr. Enupong. By the way, we have dignitaries in online today, and we can just continue like this without greeting them. And it's been a while. We've been off for 2 weeks now, and we welcome everybody here. And we have our Dr. Eno Okon from USA joining us from USA. We have our Henry Egenti, PhD, joining us from UK. We have Vicky joining us from Germany, and we have Kate Madu joining us from UK, and Madam Edith New joining us from Germany, the matron of Germany. And we have Temidayo Esther joining us from Germany, Ify joining us from Germany, and Kiru, Evangelist Kiru, and joining us from Germany. And we have our deaconess Alice Okafor, the overall VP from UK, joining us from UK. She's on air with us. And we have the President of Germany, Minister Gloria Uchendu Obi, joining us from Germany. And the person talking to you is joining from Germany too. And the guest speaker is joining from Germany, Barrister Maria Kaina. And we have our CEO joining us from UK for now. Yes, Pastor Jessica Edmonds. I want to give time for Dr. Eno Upon to say something, and maybe our CEO will come in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, sisters and brothers. It's really nice to see all of you. I wish you a joyful and peaceful Christmas season.
Amen.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to see each other. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with the illustration our speaker gave to us, it was a very nice illustration, and I don't know if any one of us has anything to add to it based on our view or experiences, because we are trying to exchange our views and ideas and learn from each other before the CEO will come in.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes.
Actually, it's a question, I got this story from a lady called Jennifer. I just make up the name. I didn't want to call her real name. Yes. She was telling me about her son that normally hit her. And then she felt horrible, as if she has failed her son. But at the same time, she couldn't call the police because she don't want her son to be arrested and prosecuted as well. And in this instance now, she didn't know what to do. Then she keep living in fear. Who knows what the son will do next? And she don't want to get help, because everywhere she will get help, the next help will be to inform the authorities. And it will also backfire on her because she'll be the one maybe going to the prison. Maybe the son will have a bad record for hitting the mom and stuff like that. So she felt like she's trapped. In this instance now, if a parent is in that situation, the child is 14 years old, what can she do? Not to harm the child's future in terms of getting criminal record or something, or not to get the police involved in court. But how can she stop the son? Because the son is now grown up. So even when she's driving, she's looking behind her shoulders because the son is used to hitting her and throwing things everywhere. And this is Jennifer's story once again. What can she do? Does anybody have anything to add to that?
I will like to really say that it's unfortunate that this is real, and it's not just to Jennifer, it's happening to many people today. And it's unfortunate that the child is still 14 years because some of these the attitude, the character that is being narrated here normally starts from the age of 16 or 18 when they know that they have their own liberty to an extent. So for this person, this case, I believe that the mother has a good will for the child, but it will still make sense to attract, to invite the authorities because they know the area, they know the actual 14 years is still okay for them to place the child in a particular sector where the child will be handled. I know that it's not easy. You back it up with prayers because there's nothing you can actually do to change a human being that refuses to change. You have done your work as a mother from right from the childhood. So at this stage now, it's an influence that is occurring on this child, both from the outside and from the inside. And just like Alice mentioned earlier, it could be that this child is undergoing stress or trauma. So you should not be a second a patient because you already have one. So the best thing is to release this boy to the authorities to help you to organize. But you still be a part of it. So you have not lost. So it's better you do this early now than when it is around 18 years, because what the police will do is just to take him out and ban him from coming into the house, and he has the choice of going as being homeless or then or entering into the real gang. You know what I mean? Then you have lost something like that. So it's really, I mean, in a setup in Europe, it's like this. So the best thing is for you to please invite the authorities early enough. At this stage, it can still work. And for those that have no authorities, that like in some of the African countries where it's not really functional, you can invite the elders, you can invite the parents, uncles, take the child away from the city to another uncle, maybe to another auntie, change the school, try and check up. Maybe it's coming from the pressure from the peer groups in the school or from the church you belong. Check out where is this pressure coming on the child mostly and try to change. But in Europe, the best thing is to call the authorities that are responsible. At that stage, it's still remedy right. Thank you. Does anybody have any other thing to say on this?
Yeah, let me just say this.
Okay, Barrister
When
Kylie.
a child is hitting a mother, that's a crime. The mere fact that he's 14 means that, okay, he wouldn't get punished for the crime, but there are consequences. And it's very difficult. It's easy to say, but it's very difficult to call the authorities on a child. But at the end of the day, if that child is not stopped, one day he's going to go out and do it to someone else. And there will be implication. And that's where it's more likely to end up, when he's after a certain age, being locked up somewhere. So while you are the parent, you still have a certain level of control over it, because even the police, they look at it different when it's in a family, such a thing happened in a family. You still have some control to say, okay, maybe they can put him in a kind of like boarding school or work with the authorities, therapies and all that. So not calling the police is just like pushing the thing forward, and you'll finally face that problem. But then the child will be at an age where he has to face the consequences of maybe having to go to jail. So calling the authorities or, looking for help is really helping the child. And another place you have to be very careful, it's okay when a grown-up child is hitting a parent. You can decide to make yourself into a sacrificial lamb. But the moment you have other children in that house, you are endangering those children. Once two grown-ups are fighting and there are minors in the house, those kids are endangered. So when eventually other people call the authorities, they may end up even taking away the younger children. I've got 7 boys, and I tell you this, anybody laying their hand on me, I don't care who you are, my child, my husband, I'm picking that phone and I'm calling that police. And they know it, and I'm not joking about it, because I value my life. I don't go around hitting people. I can't afford, at this stage in life, if I fall on the ground, you hit me, I may never be the same again. And this is back to setting boundaries. When you allow, and not just, if I see 2 of my older children fighting here, I just tell them, okay, let me call the police, because I can't come in between you. I can't separate you and get knocked. It's a rule in my house. And if not for that, God knows what would have been happening there, and I'm dead serious about it. And when you've set the boundaries, children do abide by those boundaries when they know those are boundaries. I don't allow fighting here in my house. It doesn't happen between me and my husband. It wouldn't happen between my kids. And these are boundaries that mother sometimes it's very, very painful taking a decision with a child. You can spend months crying, but you have to take the right decision.
Okay. Okay, yeah. There's this scenario I watched, and it's not a scenario, it's a true life story. The mother is always drinking, and the child is 11 years old. And the child, he feels horrible seeing the mom drunk, unstable on her foot, and not able to do anything. And when the mother gets okay, the child is like counseling the mother and crying and letting her know how they feel. But, addiction is addiction. Now, at some point, when the woman drinks and comes home and is messing around, the child slaps the mom with so much anger and hits her. The mom is not aware of what is happening because she is drunk, but people around is aware of what is happening and asking the boy to calm down. So in this situation now, what do you do? Because the mother's addiction is directly or indirectly frustrating the underage child, who ends up at 11 to 12 years ends up looking after the two, one sister and another brother. And this woman keep going to drink, probably with the benefit the government give her to look after these children. And this child has no control. So in this situation now, what can be done? Because the mother is not even aware the son is slapping him like anyhow. But then I was not really happy in slapping the mother. But what can he actually do at that point in time? Because he himself is frustrated. And the younger ones is also watching him doing the same thing.
Yeah, now, should I say, in this case now, it's no more parental abuse, it's child abuse.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has now moved from parental abuse to child abuse, because that parent is abusing that child by misbehaving and drinking in his presence. So the social workers will step in and rescue the children from that abusive environment. So in this case now, there is nothing to be done for the parents. It's for the children that needs care in that case. So social workers will step in. If anybody, the neighbors, anyone that knows, should report that to the social worker.
Yes, we are talking about social workers in the Western world, and we have to also consider the fact that there are some countries where there are no social workers.
Okay, in that case, let's assume that we are in our own country. Then that's where grandparents, relatives, uncles will step in and take the children away from her, take them away from that environment. That is the only thing, because in this case now, the children are the ones being abused.
Yeah.
There is no way a parent will allow a child to be taken care of, because that woman is no more in position to take care of those children.
Exactly.
If I can add to that, we're on parental abuse, but there's one of the most terrible form of abuse a mother can give to a child is turning that child into the parent and becoming the child. That's a horrible form of abuse.
Yeah.
She has turned that child into the parent. And how can a child is carrying the problems of a parent, of an adult, taking care of the mother, taking care of the siblings? Why would no child deserves that kind of treatment. So when the child is hitting out, this child is helpless, bewildered, not coping with the world. All the other children have parents, and this child is being a parent. I mean, that's the most horrible form of abuse. And actually, people that know this family should actually call for help for that child, because that child is really being abused.
Okay. Thank you very much for your contribution. Our time is fast, and I really like that our CEO will come in to enlighten us on who we are, and if there is any other reaction, we are happy to welcome that. You can write on the chat. Viewers, you are still on the Endless Possibilities Talk Show, and we are discussing the topic parental abuse, signs, healing, and prevention. And we have talked so many things concerning the remedies, the signs that you get at home when it starts, and the stages that it can occur, and what you can do. And we've been able to narrate that and relate it to reality, what we have at hand. And we are still open for your own comments and questions. Now I would like to invite our CEO, the founder of the Women at the Well of Living Water, which is the body bringing this endless possibility talk show to you today. So, Pastor Jessica Edmond, can you please come on tell us who we are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I also want to extend my gratitude to Barrister Maria for taking so much time to attend, despite what happened last week and last 2 weeks, 3 consecutive weeks now, you've been with us and not asking for anything, just getting involved to make sure that women learn without limit at the comfort of their home. And I want to say a special thank you also to Dr. Eno and my VP, our patron, the leader of Women at the World Germany, her executive, and everyone that's been part of this show. I was just telling Joyce today, one of the things that amazes me is that this is 3 years consecutively. We've run this show almost every week, every weekend, and every Sunday, and we have never collected a dime for anybody. And this show has been running each week. We print the flyers. You know what it takes to get here. We pay for Zoom. We do everything, and nobody has been, troubled for finances. This must have to be God. And all of you who has been part of this vision, I'm very, very grateful. Who are we? We are Women at the Well of Living Waters. We're a community of wise women who chose to use their own stories to strengthen, empower other women and the other people generally. And we help them to see themselves in our stories. What do our stories do? Our stories stir up possibilities in them, help them not to make the same mistake we've made, if at all, and also give them the ability to fulfill their dreams and goals and the purpose, to live a purposeful life. That's who we are. We are also investors in people. Like what we do now, we invest in people with our own resources to make sure you get education. We started going to television to tell our stories. When there was pandemic, everybody was restricted at home. Many people do not have the resources. Then that is when we come up with Zoom to make sure that you are not left alone. And since then, the Zoom one has been ongoing. And also, we are friends in need. We are not just like teaching. We are not just like telling our story. We are also a listening ear. We are also a sister in need. We're a sisterhood. We are friends. Just like what we are talking about now. If you see somebody abusing their parents, or you see a child abusing a parent, or a parent abusing a child, so many ways parents abuse a child, not by smacking, not by beating, not by physical abuse, but just like we say, a parent getting drunk. It touches me when I had barrister say the worst thing a parent can do to a child is turning a child into a parent and making the child and making herself to be parented by the child. It's heartbreaking. Majority of parents do that. So if you are a sister and you see that around you, take a step, make a phone call, get involved with Women at the Well. We are not going to jeopardize anybody's future. Everything we will do is to make sure that the child is safe, the mother is safe, and everybody will live happily. We will get help where is needed to make sure that the future of the destinies, both in question, is salvaged and have a beautiful life ahead of them so that we will not lose anybody. So we are friends indeed and friends in need as well. What is our mission? Our mission is to proactively provide services for the engagement and the advancement of women and men by default. How do we do that? In order for us to reach out the women around the globe, white, black, yellow, green, red, whatever color, whatever says, any form of person that you are, we have subgroups and chapters. And in each chapter, we look forward to provide skill acquisition centers where women can learn, because majority of the time we end up in this abuse and stay in it. And to some extent, most people die in it, unfortunately, because they couldn't get to leave or to speak out, and they were ashamed or embarrassed. It's because they don't have anything. They have lost their livelihood. They have lost their strength, their power, the capacity to think, because maybe they fell pregnant prematurely. Maybe they were trapped in a wrong marriage where everybody shouted and shouted, but they were in love, supposedly, and get married, and they don't know how to come out. And now they have relinquished their own strength and the power and the confidence, and they can't come out again. Women at the world, what we do is, when we listen to your story, we don't just listen to your story, we support you by knowing what you love to do. Do you want to go back to school? We'll support you with helping you with your child, if that's be the case. Do you need somebody to show you how to write your personal statement, how to make an application? You can get all these things in our center. Do you want to learn handiwork, to starting a business with zero finance? We have people who are tailors. We have people who are makeup artists. We have people who are also hairdressers, and just name it, even a lot of things that women do. Then we will link you up to the person. We will support you with whatever thing you will need to learn that. And after which you finish, we will know how to help you to establish or to start up something, and thereby giving you your power back to become whatever you want to be. At least we show you how to fish. We don't just depend on giving people fish. And so many other things that we do. Yes, where are we located? We are around the globe. We are in London, which is the headquarters, in Tottenham, to be precise, not London. And we are also in Germany. Germany is the one hosting us today, in fact, for the past 3 weeks. And we are also in USA. We are also in Nigeria, Africa. We are also in Cameroon. And the good news is, Cameroon will be hosting us next week, Sunday. A round of applause, please. Cameroon is our baby sister who is just coming up, but they've taken the responsibility to host us. And what will be their topic? They will be speaking on how to identify and minimize domestic abuse. So that's the topic we'll be treating next week, and I'm inviting all of you to be part of this, especially Barrister Maria. Everyone that is here today will be speaking on how to identify and minimize it. Last time we talked about, I forgot, but today we're talking about parental abuse signs, prevention, and the healing. Today again, we will be speaking, next week, we'll be speaking how to minimize it, because just like our VP said, everyone is a potential abuser. We may not be able to eradicate it, but 100% sure we can minimize it to an extent. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. So we are everywhere around the globe. All you just do is get in touch with me on jessica.edmond@mwatw.org or info@mtw.org. Then I will just tell me where you are. I will tell you the nearest place to you. You can also visit us on Facebook, Women at the Well of Living Waters group. And the men and women at the Well of Living Waters, that's our page. Then you can visit on YouTube. Today we are live on YouTube. Please click and share, comment, and subscribe, and encourage other people to subscribe. Therefore, you will not be missing any information from us. And our YouTube is Endless Possibilities TV. Join us, subscribe, and be part of the good news. Also, you can see us on Instagram, Wow Global, WATW_global. That is what we use on Instagram. So you can get in touch with us, look for the nearest place, be part of the community. It does not cost you nothing. It just costs you whatever you have to share. And then we look forward to impact life, change lives, and change stories. Give you a voice, amplify your own voices, and link you up to endless possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. You've been able to extensively explain who we are and what we do. And thank you for being there. And just like everybody knows that women are the well of living waters, has been hosting, as the CEO said, since 3 years, this talk show, Endless Possibilities. And we want to really dig into many ways to see that we share, that we help. That's why it is called endless, So there are always a way out. If you have tried so many places, I want you to try out here. So we are not wasting our time here. Just like she said, we thank everyone that made this possible, because it's not just a one-man show. And there has never been a place where we entered and it's only one person. So it's really a group show, a team show, and without you there, we cannot do this. So thank you everyone for being part of this growth, and we hope to climb and succeed with you along. I want to give our president from Germany to please make a keynote and thanks regard to people before we can call it a day today.
Thank you very much. I've actually been raising up my hand a long time ago to ask a question.
Sorry.
Okay, I think, it's your turn to shine.
Okay.
You are our host, so
Exactly.
do with us whatever you wish.
I actually want to ask a question that will take us a little bit backwards.
That's fine.
No problem.
Question. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Minister Joyce, Barrister, and everyone here. I actually learned something from what Barrister said and from what Deaconess Alice said. Honestly, I learned a lot tonight. And I want to ask a question that's been troubling my mind for a while. I visited a friend maybe some time ago, and the son, I think the son should be like 9 years old now. He told the mother, why is it like that African women used to shout? They like shouting, just the way you talk to a child, do this, he will not do this. Then you now raise your voice. You say, hey, that's how African women, why is it that African women like to shout? So it comes out again for me to ask this question tonight, because from the topic we've discussed tonight, most important thing between our children and ours is relationship, to build a strong relationship between both parties. If you can have a trust within ourselves, make your children your friend and your children. Like your children can rely on you, just like what Deaconess Alice said and what Barrister said. If not, if the relationship wasn't there, the son wouldn't have come back to tell you about all my friends are drinking. And you took that bold step to took him out. It has a wisdom. If that relationship wasn't there, he wouldn't have spoken to you. He would have done it outside. So these are very important things. And my question now, building this relationship, how can we pass a message to our children without shouting, without raising voice? How can we avoid that?